Hey guys, so since we're starting our intercepting communications module, I thought I would record a video going over denial of service since the lecture videos that we have right now don't cover it. So, what is denial of service and where does it show up? Well, one example of where it showed up was actually in Pone College. So 2 months ago, we had a person come into the server and claim that they were going to bring down the server, and if we didn't pay them 250 euros, they would keep it offline. And Pone College actually did go down, so we got a bunch of people talking about it. And if you use SSH with Pone College, this is the reason why we had to switch to using dojo.pone.college for the SSH endpoint. And so what exactly is denial of service? Uh, at a high level, what it is you overload a service, which often is like a web server or something like that, with fake requests to prevent them from responding to legitimate requests from legitimate users. So for example, if you had a banking application, then if you sent a lot of fake requests to the banking application, then it would be busy trying to handle all the fake requests and it couldn't handle requests from legitimate users. So maybe they won't be able to log into their account. There's also another type of denial of service, which is actually bringing down the server. So not just keeping it busy, but making it so that it can't respond to anything. We don't really do anything like that in this class. We don't have anything like that in this module, so I'm not really going to cover it in this video. Okay, so let's look at an example of what could cause denial of service. So let's say we have a lot of CSE 365 students, and they're all trying to submit their assignment. And it's Sunday night, so there's a lot of users, and they're all trying to access Pone College all at once. Well, Pone College might not be able to handle all of these requests all at once, and it might slow down, and it might even not be able to handle the requests. And if this keeps happening, so people keep trying to reload, refresh, visit the web page, eventually the server won't be able to handle it at all. And suddenly nobody can connect to the server, and we get all of these hey, is Pone College down? Questions in the chat because we had too much traffic and the servers weren't able to handle it. Okay, but this is not really denial of service because it's not malicious. Like you guys are just trying to complete your assignments. You're not trying to bring down the server. But because there's a lot of legitimate traffic, these are all real students trying to visit the same service at once, the server just can't handle it. And the server is forced to not be able to respond to anybody's request. Okay, what's a more realistic attack scenario for denial of service then? So the general idea is first we have a legitimate user. Who's this cat at the bottom here? And this cat is trying to, let's say, visit his bank account. And he sends a request to the server, and the server responds and says, okay, here's your account page. Here's what it all looks like, renders it for the cat, and the cat's happy, right? But what if we now have a malicious cat who's also trying to attack the server? Well, this malicious cat can start sending in its own fake requests. So we start sending in all these red packets. These are not this evil cat isn't actually trying to use the service. He's just trying to make it so that the server doesn't work for a legitimate cat at the bottom here. Okay, and eventually, if this evil cat sends enough requests, the server becomes too busy handling the requests of evil cat and can't respond to legitimate cat. And so then legitimate cat's requests are not going to get handled in time, and maybe legitimate cat will time out, and this just keeps happening. And eventually, if it goes on for long enough, then this legitimate cat just won't be able to connect. Whenever they send the packet, the server just doesn't have the time to respond to the packet, and their packet is dropped, and legitimate cat is unable to visit his bank account anymore. It's still possible that the server can't handle can handle legitimate cat's request if he gets lucky, but because evil cat sends so much more requests, it's very unlikely that legitimate cat will get his request uh, sent received by the server and sent back. Okay, so what can servers do to handle this? So one thing they can do is maybe they can check to see if the packets that they're receiving are legitimate. Like maybe they're looking for legitimate cat's login information. Like they make sure that legitimate cat is logged in before they start responding to the packet. And since evil cat doesn't have an account with the bank, evil cat can't send his packets. But there's a flaw with this, which is even if the server throws away all the packets that it's receiving that aren't legitimate, that the very act of spending time and throwing away these packets is going to waste the server's computation power. So even if the server is very careful about what it accepts, the sheer amount of packets that it receives from evil cat can potentially make it unresponsive. So what can we do in that case? Well, we can think about what did Pwn College do in this case. So when Pwn College got DDoS'd a few months ago, what happened was we enabled Cloudflare for the servers, and now or Cloudflare protection. I think it was already protected with Cloudflare, but now Cloudflare is actively protecting Pwn College. So now when you send a request, Cloudflare will help and make sure that these requests are legitimate and will send them to the actual Pwn College website. So how does Cloudflare work then? So the way that Cloudflare works is that it intercepts requests that are coming to Pwn College. So this is before it actually even reaches the server. And so in this way, the server isn't actually put under the load of having to throw away all the non-legitimate requests. So Cloudflare will check each request and make sure that it meets some criteria. I don't know the specifics of what it checks for, but you might have seen sometimes we visit a website and it asks you to solve a CAPTCHA to get into the website. That's Cloudflare making sure that you're a legitimate user and you're not a bot. So Cloudflare basically double checks each request, make sure it's a legitimate request, and only if it's legitimate, it will send it to the server. So what this should achieve is now every request that the server receives is from an actual user, and so any potential denial of service will happen only because there's just too many people rather than any malicious attack on the server. All right. So thanks for watching, and I hope you guys learned something useful about the idea behind denial of service so that you can apply them for the challenges in this module.